Hey everyone, and welcome to another cast by HD Phoenix. In the 2 o'clock position, we do have the red Zerg as Ice, and in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the blue Terran as Oxygen. This is the this is the upper brackets finals for the Blizz's Invitational tournament, and I can't wait to see this game go ahead. Ice is a very, very strong player, so is Oxygen. They're both from Singapore, but I'll let my co-caster HGHX talk about these players more.
Hey guys, basically these two players are really old school RTS players. They have been in the scene for very long. They have very, very strong RTS foundations, and we do see them play on this map. This map is a scrap station. As you can see, the air rush distance is really, really short, and but the rush distance by land is really, really long. So we should see very standard builds here by these two players. But I would say this map is actually a more Zerg favorite map by a lot of pro players because of the ability of the Zerg to be able to macro up due to the long rush distance. And I mean, don't be surprised if Ice go for a 15 hatch into a 14 pool. I mean, a hatchery first, because it's just so good for the macro for the Zerg player.
Well, just note that the drone just checked out this place just to make sure there's not a proxy barracks, but it does look that Ice is going to go for early expansion because he's already up to 240 minerals, and he hasn't dropped that spawning pool yet. The drone, the Overlord is in the base. This drone just went to check if there's any proxies, then he is going to drop it at a 14 hatch, most likely going to be a 15 pool, because you're right HG, because the rush distance is so long by land. Unless you proxy over here, it's going to take such a long time for reinforcements to come. You can very safely get that early expansion.
I mean, it's really good play there by Ice, because he sent his drone out to scout for that proxy barracks. If he sees no proxy, he's just going to safely put down the hatchery. It will give him so much time. If Oxygen does go for it, and then one of his very innovative like bunker marine rush, it will just give him so much time. I mean not a lot of time, but there will be sufficient amount of time for him to defend against a bunker rush. And what I can see is that Ice wants to play a very macro game. He wants to have a strong early to mid game, so that he's able to get his macro up and then outrun Oxygen with his forces. This
is actually pretty good play because Ice doesn't have a scouting drone, and he's already pulled back his Overlord. The Overlord is just going to come swing back in here just to take a peek, and he's going to see the early factory, and then immediately once he sees the factory, the drone does go back, because that's all the information he needs. The only reason why Ice put the drone on the SCV is just to make sure there is no bunker, no Reaper. So Ice floats in, he sees there is no tech lab, there's a reactor going down, and a factory. So he's like, okay, fine, there's not going to be any bunker play, I can pull back my drone, he can go back to work. For Ice, he's just getting getting his early gas, so we are probably going to see early speed. And after that, I'm curious to see if Ice is going to get 4 gas and just play Mutalisk.
Well, if he does manage to see that Oxygen is going for a reactor barrack, so he's definitely going to know that, well, there's going to be a factory barrack swap, and there goes the factory into the reactor. So we will see Hellions coming out onto the field. So look for Ice to come out enough speed links to be able to just handle the Hellions. But it's going to be a starboard, so it's going to be the conventional 1-1-1 build there by Oxygen. Look for him to maybe send out one Viking or maybe Banshees to just harass the Overlord or the mineral line. But we will see.
Well, Ice is already reacting to this. He's because of the Hellions, he's already getting his spine crawlers at the right time. Notice that the Hellions have even finished building. Oh, what am I talking about? There's already 2 Hellions on the field. But the reason for this build is because it's extremely annoying. It's kind of like the Reaper Marauder build, because you go Reapers, you force them to get Roaches, then you get Marauders to counter the Roaches. In the same way, because of these Hellions, you're forced to get Roaches, or at least a lot of Speedlings just to counter the Hellions. And because both Roaches and Zerglings can't shoot air, after that, this double starport is going to pump dual Banshees. And if Ice doesn't make enough Queens, and only has Zergling Roaches, he's going to die a very, very quick death. There are 4 Hellions on the field. Thankfully, there's only 5 drones here, and they do scoop past the spike crawler. Queens do very, very little damage to Hellions. So you look at this Queen is almost dead, and these Hellions are, still very, very healthy. There's a second Queen out, and I'm not so sure if Ice is going to be able to hold without any Speedlings.
Speed is still not done. It's still on the way, and I mean, he needs to get a few more spine crawlers to be able to defend against the Hellions, but I'm not sure if Oxygen is getting the, looking at the production tab, oh, we do not see the Infernal Pre-Igniter, so it will not be as deadly as it seems, but, oh, there's another Queen in the natural, he's trying to defend the drones. I mean, this is fantastic play there by Ice. He did get an additional Queen to defend against the Hellions, but the drones are just still being roasted. And
speed finding does kick in for the Zerglings. We do have a 4th Queen being made and a Spire. The Spire has just started, so I think that Ice didn't overcommit to Roaches. He actually, I don't even think he has a Roach Warren. He doesn't. So he is just playing standard Mutiling, and despite that, he held the Hellions off very, very well, and he is going to be very prepared for these Banshees.
I mean, Ice being a fantastic RTS player, he does predict that, well, if you're going to harass me with Hellions on this map, you're probably going to like send a few Vikings or send a few Banshees over. That's why he got additional Queens. He even morphed the Overseer in for the Cloak Banshee. This is, I mean, the Banshees are not going to do any economic damage to Ice, definitely.
Well, Ice is like map hacking or something, because he already knows that there is going to be a very, very nice transfuse just to save that Overseer. We do have 4 more Hellions coming in, and these Hellions are going to do so much damage even without Pre-Igniter, because they do so much damage to light. And look at them, they're going for the middle line, and they do get 2 drones. They're gonna get a couple more. They got 4 in total, and oh, you see, Oxygen wanted to pick up those Hellions, because remember, only the Queens can shoot air until these Mutalisks are done. We do have 3 Mutas on the way, but most of the Hellions get out of there. But the big hit was losing that medvac because of that 100 gas early game. When you're stuck on only 2 gas, every drop of gas is so precious.
Looking at the production there, we do see the pneumatized Carapace, which is the Overlord speed upgrade. So, I mean, look for Ice to just sack an Overlord in, or probably follow that up with a Vengeful Sack. So we might see drops, but I really would like to see Ice grab a 3rd base now, because he is probably in firm control now, because he's able to defend all kinds of drops. But oh my God, look at Oxygen. He is not
a huge army.
He is not content on just sitting back on macro. So if Ice does decide to grab that 3rd base now, he is in quite a bit of trouble. But I mean, looking at the production tab, we do see a Bailing Nest. So oh my God, he's really just well prepared for it. I mean, the Bailing Nest will morph in just in time for the Zerglings to be able to morph in Bailing. So,
but the thing is about Bailings is they really need to be on creep, otherwise they're way too slow. The things you want to kill of a Bailing Nest is Marines, and once Marines stim, and here comes the push. And looking at the armies tab, we have a 2,200 army versus 650, and this is going to kill Ice for sure. This is such a large army. We have 4 Vikings, 2 Banshees, 12 Marines. We even have SCVs in the mix to repair. We have how many? We have 7 SCVs, and Oxygen really does like his SCVs into the mix. We even have a medvac. The Overlord is going to see this huge army. The army for Ice is 1,000, and he is supply locked. And what can Ice do? There's only a few supply depots here, and here comes the very few, and this is going to be an end of Ice. But oh, we do have Bailings coming in. There are 6 Bailings. These Marines need to move, and all the Hellions go down. There are still 10 Marines, 4 Vikings, and 2 Banshees, but the Queens are pissed. Oh, and even more of the Marines go down, and the Vikings are landing to do damage. But this army is cut by half. But Oxygen is still in a firm position of control. 1,000 minerals, over 150, and very nice transfuse on these Queens. There are Roaches on the way, and suddenly they are. And how in the world did Ice hold that off?
I have no idea how.
Look at the army size. It's now 1,000 for Ice, and 600 for Oxygen.
I mean, this is like virtually impossible to follow that push because of the positioning of the Marines and the SCVs being able to tank for the Marines. But Ice, he just managed to hold that off, and probably I would say that around
these are the all-stars right here.
Yes. At this point of time, at this position, he did not micro the Marines properly, so that's why the last 2 Bailings were able to smash into the Marines, and the Queens were able to just clear up the mess. And I mean, once the attack fails, Ice is on 2 base, Oxygen is on 1 base, and Mutas are already out on the field, so Ice has map control. That is the most important thing now. So I mean, all that Ice needs to do now is just sit back and just macro, and he must be able to defend that second push from Oxygen, and he will take the game.
I'm still pretty much shocked that at one point Oxygen had 1,000 army, and then the Zerg had 150. And for some weird reason, he held it off. He did have Queens, and the Queens, remember, don't count as army. So technically he was 450 minerals of army, but these Queens healing each other, and Queens do a lot of damage. Queens